All right, well, we got the engine hoist set up here in the backyard where my mom wants to put it right by the boat. So to take the bed off, there's 3 7mm bolts that hold each of the gas cap fuel lines on, and then there are 6 bolts that hold the bed on. There's this one right there, and then another one right there, another one right there, and then one more right there. And you have to get them all from the underside of the bed. I'm not sure what the measurement on them is yet, but I'll let you guys know what socket you need to get that off. So there's 6 of those, and then we're gonna do an X pattern connecting a ratchet strap from that corner to that corner and that corner to that corner. And we're gonna put the engine hoist extended out, and then it'll lift up the bed, and then we'll just drive the truck over and into the driveway, and we'll see where the leak is coming from this rear tank over here, and give a little undercoating to this truck too. You can tell that it needs it, but it looks like the frame is pretty sturdy. I guess we'll see, but yeah, I'll get to getting these bolts off and the other ones off, and we'll skip ahead to when we're lifting this up. All right, so we're under the truck. Here's the parking brake cable. Might have to replace that because I haven't put the parking brake on yet because I've been too nervous to. But the front bolt is right there. And we'll see what millimeter size it is, but that one's gonna be the toughest one to get to, I'm pretty sure. But we'll see. All right, well, we ran into a couple issues with getting these bolts loose. It's a 3/4 socket size, but it doesn't fit, or it fits on there, but you can't break them loose. They're so rusted onto there. We sprayed it with penetrating fluid, we heated it up. They ain't coming loose. So another issue that we ran into was the engine stand. This is a 8-foot bed. The engine stand only reaches to about here, so we thought might as well hook up the come along to this tree here. And we got the ratchet straps hooked up. It'll lift on up, but we're gonna just use the angle grinder and cut some squares around each of these bolts, and then just lift up the bed and then grind the bolts off later when we're done. So we're doing things really the last resort option, but I mean it's come down to the last resort. So yeah, we'll see. All right, I'm going out back to where we put the bed. It turned out that we didn't have to put squares through the bed in order to get it free, because that ended up not working because there's cross members that run in between each of the bolts on the bed. So you had to grind off the top of the carriage bolt head in order to get it free. So I pretty much cut these squares for no reason, but this bed was already toast, so there's really no need for that. I mean, maybe I could sell the taillights or something, but the tailgate's screwed, this bed's screwed. So yeah, that's how we got it off. So
okay, now we just need to get some wood underneath it or something.
all right, now that we got this bed off finally, it took grinding off the top of those carriage bolts to get it off there. You have to grind off the top bit of the carriage bolts in order to get the bed off itself. So now that we got that off, we're gonna start wire wheeling all the frame and spray bed liner on everything except for the shocks and the exhaust, because the shocks are already painted. We're just gonna clean them up, and then also that moves, so you don't want bed liner getting into there, and then you don't want to go on the exhaust because it'll burn off and start smoking everywhere, which is not a good idea. So we'll tape those off when we get to it. But the rear tank leak I think it was just that this hose wasn't disconnected. So we'll clean everything off. We'll pressure wash everything. So clean all this mud and stuff off. But I think if we just drain the fuel tank and put some new stuff in there, we should be good to go as far as working on the rear tank. And then when we make a flatbed for it, or if we find a new bed, I'm gonna cut access panels in order to get to both of these fuel pumps on here. So yep. All right, well, we're all done getting all that muck off the truck. So got my truck pretty dirty doing that, but we'll wipe down the fueling system area just so that it doesn't get too wet, you know. Maybe a couple of these wires will wipe up too and stuff, but yeah, we'll wait for it to dry and then wire wheel it. I've been sanding it for the last couple days, the frame, and this is all shiny now. I wire wheeled off all the exhaust piping and everything and sanded down most of the frame so far. Rust is starting to come back because it's been raining a little bit, but it should just wipe off a bit with acetone. So I think we should be good to go soon with getting the primer on. But I still have to wire wheel all the differential and drive shaft and this fuel tank still. And not to mention underneath the frame is still kind of bad. So it's going to take another couple days to even be ready to put primer on, I think. But then after that, the bed liner should be pretty easy to throw on there. And then I went and picked up yesterday something special for this truck. Is that a 6-inch rough country lift kit we got sitting in here? I think it is. I think it'll look pretty sweet too on this thing. That means that we can throw some bigger tires and stuff on here too. Get rid of these rusty old shocks and coilovers up here. Just pray to God that the nuts will come out. So I think we'll be doing that the next couple days, and we'll update y'all on how that goes. All right, well, it came time to sanding up the front half of the truck, and we didn't have a jack big enough, so I just decided go big or go home. We got the 12-ton jack stands and the off-road jack. This is what we were using before just for size comparison, so I think this will work a whole lot better, especially when the truck's lifted. So we might throw primer on today. I don't think so, but we got a lot of that frame sanded down now, so it's almost ready for primer. So yeah. All right, we got the primer all laid up on the frame, looking quite good. Now it's time to throw the bed liner on there. We got the roll-on stuff, so that way we don't have to spray it. I think it'll look pretty good. The primer came out pretty good, as you can see. We did 1 to 2 coats everywhere, so yeah, now it's time for bed liner. We did a little bit of spray-on bed liner on the diff, and it came out pretty good, so we'll use the spray-on stuff that we got sitting right there on all those intricate areas, and we'll just roll it on like the fuel tank and the rails and stuff. All right, this is about a week or so later. That bed liner's staying strong and it looks really good back here. The issue that we ran into later on with this truck is we went to go get the windshield replaced, which they did for us, but the dude at the windshield, like the safe light here, he ruined like every single thing into the ignition terminal of this truck, so I had to completely rebuild all of that. So it took a couple days for me to get it, but now the truck starts just fine. The ignition actuator is what broke in half. There's like a little metal rod in here that completely snapped. So it took me a couple days to fix that, and then cab corners arrived, so at least one body panel's arrived that we can replace. But yeah, other than that, that just took a little bit, so that's why it's been taking a little while. But the bed liner's all done, looks pretty good. I got the jacks, and I'm ready to put the lift kit on now, I think. So I'm gonna get a buddy over here, and we're gonna throw the 6-inch lift kit on. Hopefully we don't run into too many issues, but as far as I see, there's a couple bushings that are like completely off or just completely torn and starting to dry rot. So I think it's a pretty cheap fix or slash repair. But yeah, a lot of these bushings are gonna need to get replaced here. So yeah, and we haven't started sanding any of the front half of the frame, but I think we will now that we have a little bit better access with these wheels off. We're also gonna spray the wheels a little bit. I did a little test spot here with like this metallic spray paint that I had. I didn't sand this or anything, but it looks like it turned out pretty nice. So I think we're gonna do that on at least the front wheels for now and see how they turn out, and then maybe the backs. But I was planning on just getting whole new wheels in general once this truck's lifted. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'll have another video when we are doing the lift kit and putting that lift kit on. But for now, that the bed liner and the windshield are replaced. So we're making progress. We're running into issues, so it's coming along kind of slow now. But I'm hoping that we can get this build done before like October-ish. So I think we will. Just need a couple free weekends to do it. So yeah.